Okay, looks like we're online. Mute this. Let's make sure we're live on Twitch. Okay, nice. All right, give it a minute for people to get their notifications. Let's set some context. What the heck? Let me get the chat window up here on my phone. Okay, that seems to be working. Okay, welcome back. So, what are we doing today? Well, we're continuing where we left off last weekend on this time range options feature. This turned out to be actually quite a big refactor to the whole pod, form, and card user experience, which is fine. So let's give some context. All right, so where we left off, again, it's very important to do these sort of like to-do start here comments in your code so you know exactly where to pick up, because you know this is there's a lot of time in between our last session, so this helps me to pick up the thread where I last left it. So what did we do? So far we've done all the backend refactoring to add these fields to the pod type. We implemented this time range selector pure component. Granted, it's still at a pretty rough stage, but it works for our purposes. And so the next thing we have to do is implement this select pods client-side mutation. Then we need to add these start and end time fields to the pod form. Add the time range options field to the pod form using this time range selector we wrote. And then refactor the time range selector out of the pod card and then show it in the modal after the user clicks join. If we get all this done in this session, so 90 minutes, I'll be pretty happy and we can take a break. So just as a reminder, this is the pod range selector, so you can click edit time range and then you have options here, so you can go next week and we'll choose 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. and you hit save and you should see the option in the selector. So there it is, see 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And so other users that want to join the pod can see all the available options. So this is a very similar feature to doodle.com for those of you that are familiar with it. Eventually we'll allow users to like sync their Outlook and Google calendars so they don't have to populate this manually. But for now this works just fine. So right now in the pod card for the event, we're gonna do sort of like this UX. Right, so let's do some more context setting for those of you that weren't watching the previous streams. On the news feed where you see the event, you can see who's attending, interested, and we're going to add a third state called planning, which is sort of like in between interested and attending. And it's going to show all the users in pods that are in the planning state, which means that they have a time range option field. So people are basically still picking the start and end time. And we're going to have just the members of the pod in the pod card here, right here, and then there's a view Ps option. You can click on it and it'll show you like a users list of all the actual members of that pod. But this is kind of broken right now because we don't actually have select pod. So that's sort of what we're doing next. So let's just jump into it. First of all, let's see if we actually have some people watching. Yeah, we got a couple people. Okay. So let's get going here. So we want to do select pods. These mutations kind of come from. It's going to come from. Apollo, I believe. Client. Mutations. then we need the event. Oh no, we want to do this. Select pods. So we're already doing this for events. Okay. Where do we call select pod? On pod selected. Here. Now, right now we're calling the toggle show piece, but this is the smart component for the pod card. So this shouldn't, this is implementation detail of the list being leaked, right? Because the pod list has this view slider, which renders either the list of pods or the list of pod members. So I think this should react to the selected pod, and then, well, let me think. Yeah, that's one way we could do it. We could do it indirectly, where when the selected pod changes, we automatically change the show peas field and render the members. Or we can keep it explicit like this. Actually, you know what? I think it's fine. Because actually in the pod card, even when we add the users here, we're still going to have like a view peas button. So we should have a callback for that. So this is fine. This is fine. Okay. So now we actually have to, oh, also we want to do this. On click, we want to just call select pod. Actually, I don't think we need to call it here then, right? Because this is going to be called on the when the event bubbles up. Okay, so now we have to implement it in the GraphQL. Oops. I think it's in here. No. Where is it? Resolvers. Here. Mutation, log out. So select events, it's just like the same thing as this. Oh, not set events. Sorry. It's select events. Actually, it's not going to be this much. You don't need to do the history stuff. So select pods. You probably just come in here and just for now, wherever we see event, just change it to pod. All right, so get selected pods query. Selected pods. We do the same thing for event. So event goes to pod. The arguments now is pods. Right query, get selected pods query. Now, right now in the UX, we only have the option to select one pod, but it's good that we have this ability to select multiple in the future. Because selecting one is just a subset of selecting n. So actually, this is something I thought about we should probably do in the UX, which we're not doing, is see how it says like event and then the event ID? We should probably also allow routing in the tab view, right? So like pod 1, 2, 3, right? I am not sure. I'm gonna punt on that. I don't know if we want to do that. What's this saying? Selected pod is never used. Let's just return the pods we selected. Okay, so there's the select pods. But we don't have the get selected pods query, so we have to write that up here. Get selected pods query. Well, let's just search where get selected events query is, or groups is fine. Oh, here we go. It's in the index. Okay. Should probably break this file up eventually. For now, it's fine. Get selected pods query. And then selected pods. Okay. And then I have to do select pods here. Okay. That should be good. And close that. Sudo, do we want to support pod routes? I don't know if this is necessary in terms of UX. It's because a pod is a subtype of an event. I'm trying to think of when you'd want to do this. Anyways, let's not worry about that right now. Okay, so we have our query. Let's see if we have any typos. Mutations is not exported. Oh. Right. Well, we can just look at the event list. Oh, not this one. The search event list. Oh, it's client API, that's right. Yeah. I made that distinction on purpose. All right, let's try that. Cool. All right, so now if I click this, it should have called this select pods. Can't find selected pods in root query. Oh, I must have missed it, adding it here. There's the root query. Boom. Oh no, what am I doing? This is not, it's the backend. Here. Nope. This is the API. Where's the client API? Here it is. Boom. Get selected pods query. I'm missing, what does it say? Can't find field selected pods. Oh, it's because we don't actually have it in the client cache, do we? Where's the client cache? Client data. Yeah, here. So let's put it here. This is like our Redux store essentially. There we go. Did it select the pod? It's a question. Let's actually log it out. Oops, I didn't want to close that. No, I did. I wanted to open this one. No, not this one. And resolvers. Let's actually see if we're selecting it correctly. Selected pods. Oh, we're not doing anything with this right now. Get selected pods query. Select pods. Let's make sure we have the data coming in. Oh, it's because in the list we're not reading it, are we? That's what I just realized. Yeah. So, oops, what the hell? We have to do import queries from the client. GraphQL client API. Oh, we also need use query. Oh no, we have a use query. Okay. So let's do another use query here. Selected pod is use query. Queries dot get get selected pods query. Here we go. Selected pods and list. Make sure this matches what we expect. And then I think the selected pods is being used here. Selected pod. So we can do something like this. Oh, you know what we could do? We can do that. Should work. Basically, we just need the ID of the selected pod, that's all. So we know what members to render. What was I doing? Yeah, click this. Oh, so selected pods and list. Oh, I actually do have to, yeah, I'm not using that correctly. Selected pods is working, it looks like. Yeah, here's the pod. The ID, good. So this is not correct. I thought when you do... Okay, this is not right. Search event list, how do we use it again? Oh, I'm not using it there. Here. Oh, you have to do data like this. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. That's kind of weird. I think that should work. UPs. Ah, shit. What happened? May not update existing query string in store. What? Okay, so we have the selected pod. So that means we're passing it correctly. This is a search users list. Okay, so the search users list. All right, let's do this. This is working. Let's get rid of this. I think let me think for a minute. So search users list is getting the pod ID. Let's make sure of that. User list pod ID. But I think what it's complaining about is that we're like changing this query. So it's doing this by default, and then we're swapping out the query, and it doesn't like that. So we gotta fix this. So get pod by ID, get group by ID, and then what is this? What is the default? Search users. I see. I see what it's complaining about. Well, query response field. Get pod by ID query. Yeah, this search users is kind of like a compound component. You see? So I almost want to do... Let's see what the default filters are. Because I think filter is going to be undefined, right? So we should do like else if filter. Or maybe we can just skip if... Oh no, we are doing if skip if not filter. Huh. Okay, what's going on here? Why is this not working? Oh no, it is working. What? It's working now. Maybe I just didn't save the file. So if I hit VPs, loading, no. User list, so we have the pod ID, may not update an existing query string. Yeah, so it's not skipping. Why is that? Why isn't it skipping? Not sure actually. Maybe. Alright, let's just debug this. I feel like skip is not being set to true. And so it's firing off a query. That's why it's in like a loading state. See, it's loading. This shouldn't be loading right now. So here we go. Skip is false. Oh. So I think it's just firing the query twice. May not update existing query string in store. Init query. New promise. Fetch query. Yeah. So, how to handle this? May not update existing query in store. Bum, 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 bum. Get pod by ID. Get group by ID. So god, this component is trying to be so smart. So with pod ID, we get the pod members. With group ID, we get group members. Otherwise, we get just the users. I see. No, it's not that smart. Query. I want to see what the query is. I think this is the problem. Oops. So when I click on this, yeah, so oops. So the query is undefined true. So it's going to skip false because we have a pod ID, and then it renders the user list again. Why does it render it again? It's the same query. Is it trying to send it twice? Get pods by event ID. No, get pod by ID. Get current user. Join pod. Wait, what? Join pod? What? Why is join pod being called? Alright, something's going wrong here. Whoa, what the hell? Get pods by event ID. User by ID. Okay, there's definitely... I don't know why a join pod's being called a bunch of times. Let's see. Let's actually switch to, well, no, this is fine. I'm gonna switch to Firefox. It's easier to use. Get user, get current user, get event by ID, yep. Get threads by parent, get user by ID, get pods by event ID, join pod. So why is join pod being called? Well, let's fix that. That's probably in the pod card here. Oh, here we go. Where else is it called? On create pod clicked. Okay, so this is not on create pod clicked. It's not this, it's this one. Why is this being called? Makes no sense. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Oh, did I turn off my debugger? I do not. Wait, this one's being called? That doesn't make sense either. These are on-click handlers. How could this be called? So I guess in the previous session we must have broke something. Join pod. Okay. Here. Join pod. Join pod wrapper. Interesting. Why is this join pod wrapper being called? Who calls this? Oh, the time range selector? Oh. I see. On time range options changed, we call join pod. Okay, so this is a bug. Let's just fix this. This is in what is this? The pod card smart component. It's in this one. Yeah. Okay, so on this unchanged pod and time ranges, time range options. If is pod member. Okay. So we don't want to call this on changed pure pod card. So actually this is in the P time range selector. This is a bug in here. So this prop on change here. This is called is edit mode. If it's not edit mode, on change selection local time ranges. Toggle time range. Here. Toggle, not toggle day. Edit mode changed. Well, let's just see where. On edit mode change, if is edit mode. I'm not in edit mode. Oh yeah, this is a bug. So we don't want to do this in the initial render. Edit mode changed. So when we leave edit mode, like we added, let's see, how do we debug that? Let's do this for now. This is a bug. So where are we doing this? Here. So when we leave edit mode, we have to first check to make sure that this is different than the current selection. If it's not, then we don't call on change. We only call on change if it's different. So let's do that. What's going on here? Why is it not loading? What's going on? All right, let's just kill it and restart. Selection and local time ranges. Yeah, so we have to compare this to the, what the heck's going on? Let's just open up a new one. That one got, DevTools got stuck somehow. Yeah, this is running. Whoa, the favicons not even loading. What the heck is going on? Is this a Chrome thing? Oh, I think it's a Chrome issue. Firefox is loading. Huh. Alright, whatever. We'll deal with that in a second. So, on time range options changed here. On edit mode changed. So let's see what the value of this is. Let me kill that Chrome tab. I don't know why it's not loading. So edit mode changed. So the selection is, wait, the local time ranges. Oh man, it's taking a while to load. So there's no selection, and there's no local time ranges. So we should compare this to what the current value is. Local time ranges. Set local time ranges. Oh, you know what I realized about this though? We can't actually delete. This is only addition. Oh, I see. This is to do here. Handle. So we have a thing here. After we do this, we want to yeah, so this is in here. Time range. Show the time ranges in the calendar while in selection mode. Or I guess I'll call it edit mode. And handle. Oops. Handle delete time range. So right now we can only add time ranges. So handle delete time range. So I guess for now we can just check to see if edit mode and the local time ranges has a length. Okay. Need to work around until we fix that issue. So let's try that now. Where did I pause it? Here. Oh. Let's see if we can just do a continue. So now we should see there is no join. Join pod should not have been called. Get current user, get event, get threads, get. Okay. Oh, wait. It was called. Why is it called? Alright, well, let's just keep debugging it. Let's get here. Let's see if this one's called. Yeah, delete time ranges. So we should head our debug statement. Pausing exceptions. Huh? Oh, now it's not calling join pod. All right, let's. I think it was the fix. It just didn't load. What is going on with Chrome? Let's kill this process. Taking a lot of CPU too for some reason. Interesting. Handle delete time range. All right. Oh, I need the ID of the event. Okay. Let's make sure we don't have any join pods being called. That was a weird bug. Get current user. Get event by ID. Get threads by parent. Get user by ID. Okay, so where was I? So if we hit view Ps, now we're probably still in the problem where it's loading double queries. May not update existing query string in store. I've seen this before. Where have I seen this before? No, this is not it. All right, so I think what the problem is, let's close this for now. The problem is, by the way, I bought this pedal. Highly recommend it. I tweeted about it. I don't have to like move my wrists at all. I can just hit, watch that, see? I can just move and hit enter, escape, enter pedal, enter pedal. So I can just jump in and out of Vim insert mode with my feet, which is pretty awesome. Highly recommend it. Ergonomics for the win. Okay, so the problem is in the search. Let me save this. It's in the search users. Search users list. So this is like dynamically changing the query. And it's complaining. I think it's complaining here. Pagination. Yeah, I think like if we look at the loading and the data, I think loading is going to be true. Let me turn this off. Go. What's going on? Let's just use Firefox for now. Chrome is being weird. So let's go here. Okay. UPs. Loading false, data undefined. So we select the pods, good. And then we say loading true, data still undefined. Loading true, undefined. May not update existing query string in store. Existing query string in store. I think I have a typo in something. This is a weird error. Let's look here. So this is good. Get selected pods query, get selected pod client, select pods client. This is right. No, not this. Here, select pods. Get selected pods query, write query data. This is also right. Select pods. That looks right to me as well. Get selected pods queries. Huh. Okay, I guess we're gonna debug. This is invariant violation, an internal error. This doesn't seem right to me. Use query, use deep memo. Like, what the hell? This is like Apollo internal stuff. All right, humor me for a second. Let's try something. This has been a while since we updated from the latest beta. I feel like I'm using it right. But, you know, let's see. So we're on 37 and they're already up to 44. So let's try to just bump up to 44. Maybe they solve this. Where is it? Here. I mean, 7 releases is... It's not nothing. Alright, hope people are having a good Saturday night. Staying safe in quarantine. Yep, we're just doing some coding. Trying to get this feature done. It's taking a lot longer than I expected, but usually that's how it is. So we're currently doing this task, and then we're going to do, these should be pretty simple, straightforward, just some updating of pure components on the front end. And then it's another UX thing. Okay, let's see. Just for some context, what we're adding is sort of like a doodle.com like feature to the pod, where users can put in like optional time ranges that they're available. So before it was all or nothing, you just join or you leave. It was binary, and now we're adding a third state to the pod called planned. So you have attending, you have interested, and we're gonna have planned or planning. And planning is basically if there is no start and time, if there's only an array of time range options. But the pod owner or whoever's the organizer, once they have all the options of all the members or the invitees, then they decide on the start and end time, and it goes from planning to attending. So it creates increased flexibility. So there's a lot of like spontaneous chat stuff going on right now, like with Facebook and other apps where it's like, oh, just jump in a room and start chatting with your friends. And in my experience, I don't know, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but like that usually doesn't work very well, because it's like the timing is important. You can't just, people feel weird about just like dropping in on someone's room if they're not invited, because it's, you know what I mean? And so I think that having this like doodle.com feature for the pod where it's like, hey, you know, what times work best for everyone, it makes it people more likely to actually attend the virtual hangout than if it's just like spontaneous, like, hey, it's right now, let's like see who's available at this moment. Like obviously you're not going to have as many people available. It's like Twitch, right? Like if I just go live on Twitch, okay, look, it looks like it installed. If I just go live on Twitch, like people show up or sometimes they don't. And I mean, that's probably because I should have a schedule. But yeah, like this is basically that feature where you let the pod creator add a schedule to the pod. And this, I've used doodle.com all the time with friends for like planning camping trips and stuff. So it's definitely a valuable feature, but to be honest, it's actually a bit trickier to implement than I expected. I thought this was going to be just a one weekend, bang it out, but clearly I was wrong. So what the hell is taking all my CPU? Docker. Yeah, Webpack. Webpack is a thing, but it's awesome, so I can't complain. We'll let that load up, and yeah, while that's loading, man, it's taking a while. Let me just give some context, because there's probably some new people that were on the earlier stream last weekend. What we're building. So Peapods is basically a Twitter plus Meetup plus Instagram sort of social network that's just based around events and groups. And it has a new concept called a pod, which is, I call it the unit of social accountability, which is the thing that I think Meetup and all the other event platforms are missing. Because if you have an event and there's like, especially if it's a party and there's like, you know, 100 people going, it's not enough just to me to say like, oh, I'm going or I'm not going, or I might be going. Like you want to go to hang out with specific people. Like people are what, the event is almost just the excuse to get together, right? That's the way I view it. And so by codifying these pods and also implementing something we call reputation, which is added or removed based on your ability to show up to the pods that you say you're going to go to, we think we can create some innovation here in the event space. And so this pod concept is pretty cool, I think. And so we're trying to we were gonna try to launch the app, you know, in early June, but obviously that's not going to happen with COVID. So we're now pivoting into a virtual events, and for virtual events, we need this like doodle.com feature. So that's the context for all of you. Well, okay, I need to. Okay, well, I don't know why Chrome is still. Or Webpack is still like taking all my CPU. Something's wrong here. I might have to restart Docker. Yeah, I'm gonna restart Docker. It looks like it can't even connect. But it can connect fine on Firefox, which is very strange. Like, let's see if this loads. Write data is not a function. Okay, something is just totally borked right now. Oh, they removed write data. Alright, hold on. Let me close this. Docker. Yeah, let me restart Docker. Sorry about this. This is like, sometimes you just gotta restart Docker. Because it just takes all your CPU for some reason. This is some rogue process. Okay, while that's restarting, I have to actually update the Apollo API. It changed apparently, and just restart Docker. Yes, restart. Let's wait for that to come back up. So let me look at the new Apollo docs. Apollo client. So cache.write data is no longer an option. I guess that's because they want to switch to the beta docs. SL, yeah. Where is the client? Here we go. Write data. How do I write data? Mutate? Oh, maybe I have to go on mutate. Read query, write query. Oh, yeah, they removed the API completely. Dang it. Well, let's just look at the issues. It's probably an easy migration. I don't want to mess around with the docs. Alright, I think Docker should be good now. Let's start that back up. And restart this. Okay, and go back end. Let's make sure the database is up. Looks good. So npm start. Get our serverless offline going. This is like such a sweet setup. If you guys are interested in my current stack, I have a blog series published on Medium that like explains the whole thing. It's really nice. I call it the Grand Stack. It's like GraphQL, React, ArangoDB, Node, and TypeScript. And it's running on AWS Lambda with the serverless framework, my GraphQL server here. So we have it running on serverless offline. So let's try reloading this now. Stop. Stop. Okay, that should work. Yeah, okay. So let's see what the solution is to write data. I wonder why they removed that API. Yeah, this is the downside of using beta software, but Apollo client is freaking awesome, so it's worth it. So let's look at cache write data have been fully removed. Cache.modify can be used to update the cache, for example. All right, let's just see this migration. Cache.modify. Why'd they write data? Cache.modify. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Client.write data. Client.write data can be converted to client.write query. What? What's cache modify? Let's do that. Where's the cache? Modify. Come on. Where's the cache API? Come on, guys. I searched for cache. I just want to see the cache API. Here we go. Client. Apollo cache in memory. Good lord. Maybe I can just search for modify here. Well, before I start searching the code, maybe we can just look here. Write data. All right, let's just do this. Cache.modify is not a function. According to, there's a new cache modify I'm using. I haven't seen any documentation for this. Yeah, come on, man. Boom. Subscribe. Cache.modify is not a function. Well, okay. Is it really not? Let's see. Sorry, this is not the exciting stuff that you guys are probably here for, but like, this is what it's actually like. Let's go here. The Apollo cache. Where are we creating the cache? Here. Let's just do this. Cache.modify. So they're saying that it's not even on it yet. Maybe they didn't release it. Maybe it's in a future release. Cache.write data. It's not a function. Here we go. Oh no, it is. Modifiers, data ID, and optimistic. Oh, okay, it's just not documented then. I mean, we can just probably look at it in the code, right? Modify. Let's see. I should just clone down this. Here it is. Test cache.modify. Entity store. Here. In memory cache. Modify. Modifiers, data ID, root query. Let's look at the test. The test is going to be more, tell us how to use it. Should work with single modifier function. Write query. Cache.modify value and field name. Oh. Oh, I see. So they want everything under the root query now. That's why they're doing this. Okay. They want all this under the root query. Let's do this instead. Let's take a step back. I see now why they made this change. Let's look at the docs and let's look at the interacting with cache data. Read query, write fragment. Local state. Apollo cache persist. So let's see if we can do cache manipulation. Under construction. Yeah, see, this whole thing is in beta right now. Yeah. Client.write data. Client.write query. Modifiers. I'm not sure what a modifier is. Get the value of the field name. Huh. Are we only doing it in one place? Hashed out right. Reset store. Yeah, so we're only doing it here. Cache.modify. Root query. What is this? Let me see what this does here. Cache.modify. So this is the value of the field. This is the name. Let's see what this actually is. It's not documented, so this is how we gotta figure out what the hell's going on. Okay. Might as well do it now. We're gonna have to do it in the future. What am I doing? Add to calendar. I'm looking for a value here. Oh man. They really changed the use query hook? Oh my god. Okay, forget this. That's a huge refactor then. That can't be true. Why would they change it this late in the game? Holy shit. Let's see the API here. Here's an example. Here. No, they didn't. Alright. Abort, abort, abort. This is not a good idea to try to upgrade right now. They changed a lot of shit. The API. Well, I'm sure they had a good reason. So let's not worry about that right now. Let's just go back. That's a whole nother PR, I think, to refactor all this. So let's go to let's close all this out and then go to releases. There's releases here. And just see if there's any bug fixes. So we were on 37. So let's just see if there's anything that fixes the... I mean, we only upgraded because we're trying to fix that issue. Bug fix, bug fix, bug fix. Nope. No bug fix here. Oh my gosh. This is a big one. Bug fixes here. Ah, here we go. Fix error policy, use mutation, sure. Nope, no bug fixes. Nope. Throw when writing inconsistent query data. Oh. All right, well. Yeah, I don't see... This is frustrating. I don't see any bug fix, but I really don't feel like I'm using it wrong. Oh, what to do, what to do. Let's do it halfway. Let's at least go to 41. No, let's revert it. I don't want to complicate this PR. All right. Change the plans. Okay. So the issue is this component. Where is it? Not this. Close this. Close this. This component is throwing because we're dynamically changing the query. Get out of here. We're dynamically changing the query based on the props. It doesn't like that. It does not like that. I mean, I guess we could... the proper way, according to the docs, I guess, is to have 3 of these. Yep, let's just do it. Yikes. I almost think we need a separate hooks file then now. Whatever, let's just do it like this. So this is search users query. It's just 3. Let's just do it. I'm trying to be too clever here, you know. This is a get pod by ID query. And then the third one is... ah, shit. The third one is what? The third one is get group by ID. Get group by ID query. So let's see if we can do this. We can do... we can do search users loading, search users data, search users fetch more, and likewise we'll do get pod loading, get pod data, get pod fetch more. This component is officially too smart. Get group loading. That's all right. We'll refactor it. Get group data. Get group fetch more. All right. Now let's first of all, we can just get rid of all this crap. Query, query, and then query. Get rid of this, and then we can do. We can even do this actually. Oh, let's just do one thing at a time. Let's not refactor this thing. So then loading is search users loading, or it's the get pod loading, or it's the get group loading. Okay, and then the data is either search users data. Like only one of these is going to be truthy, depending on the input. Props, get group data. Okay, and then fetch more is the same. Fetch more is going to be search. Actually, I'm not sure about this. I'll have to verify it. get pod fetch more. And then this is get group fetch more. So I think this will work. Oh, I have an extra thing in here, don't I? Okay. So that should just make it stop working, I think. Save that. Just adds a lot of duplicate code, which I don't like, but whatever. Close this. I think it reloaded. Just click on that. May not update existing query string? How is that the same error? Fetch query. May not update existing query string in store. What the hell, man? I do not understand this error. This is not a very good error. How about this? How about we search their code base for this error string to see what the heck is going on? Oh, wow. It's not even... It's not even there? Update existing query string. Oh, yeah, shit. See? It's not here because it's not... They probably fixed it. Calling read query. Update query string. May not update existing query string in store. I really don't want to debug Apollo code right now. I really don't want to debug Apollo code. Yeah. Shoot. Do I have any choice? Oh my gosh, this is supposed to be the easiest task. Alright, let's just go to init query. Previous query is not equal to invariant previous query or previous query document. Oh, I think I know why. It's actually not in here. It's not this component. I don't think that's the bug. There's actually a bug in Apollo, it looks like. Query document. Is user logged in? So they're comparing objects. The objects are different. Selected pods data. Reset this. Get selected pawn. Selected pawns. Yeah. Hmm. This is so frustrating. This is definitely a bug in Apollo, I believe. Because these documents are going to be different even if they're the same on re-renders. I don't know, let's just see. So previous query, where'd my music go? Previous query. So this user logged in. Get current user. Get current user. Get current user. Huh. Get user by ID. What's this one? Get show pod form. Let's break on exception and continue. Invariant error. Diff query against the store. The query, so here's the document ID. Get pods by ID. Public user props. So we're doing get pod by ID. Okay. The variables are, there's the pod ID, it's correct. Options ID is undefined. Return partial data is true. Diff query against store. Repeat. At least I understand now what Apollo Cache is doing. This is pretty cool. Query manager. Use query, search users list. What's this query? Get pod by ID. Skip is false. Get pod by ID. Here. Selection, get pod by ID. Root query. Policies, read the root query. Selection. So selections get pod by ID. Here's the context. Get pod by ID. The field is null. Let's look at the cache right now. Oh, is it because I'm debugging? I couldn't detect Apollo. Okay. Alright, forget that. Might be dirty. Already computing. Optimistic. I see. I see. It's because it. Oops. It's because it already called it. But why? This is definitely a bug in Apollo. Like it should know. It should know not to call this again. You know? Because nothing changed. Oh. Oh, yeah. This is being re-rendered. Okay, I think I understand what's going on now. This is really tricky. So this is just continue. This users list is being re-rendered. So this is being called twice. Render. Ah, shit. And the variables are actually changing because we're reinitializing input. So we should make that a ref. Like it's calling this twice on the re-render, and the second time is failing, I believe. I think I figured it out though. Yeah, I wish I could upgrade Apollo to fix that bug. Invariant violation. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I understand now. So how can we make this not be called again? Maybe we can... I guess we can use a ref. This is kind of hacky. Right? Oops. And then instead we do input dot current. Well, be everywhere we do input. Input is now input dot current. Oops. There's probably a better way of doing this. And this is input.current. And let's verify that. So let's do this. Yeah. Render. Where's my render? Oh, what the hell? Oh, it's because I'm doing this. Okay. Why is my render not being called? Do that. Now update existing query stream and store. I don't want to really deal with this bug right now. It might even be faster just to find the Apollo client version that doesn't have the breaking changes, but has this bug fix. You know what I mean? User list loading. Oh shit, did I turn this off? Invariant violation. No, keep going here. Go here. Why is my debugger not being called? Search users list. Good lord, is this not the component that I'm even rendering? Pod list. Search users list. Here. Pod ID. No, it is. It for sure is. Oh. Let's just verify something. Oh, no. Yeah, there's always that risk of using beta libraries. It's fun to be on the cutting edge, except when stuff breaks and you have to do this kind of debugging. Test. Wait a minute. What? Was I just going down a wild goose chase this whole time? Because I didn't understand that error, an invariant violation. Wait, so I'm still getting the invariant violation even when I'm not rendering this list? So where's this coming from? Search users list. What? But I'm not rendering it. What in the hell is going on? Pod list. Here. Like what? I'm sorry, I'm just so confused right now as to what code is even being run. Why didn't that hot reload? Oh my gosh. Oh no, not yarn. This error is not at all what I expected. Man, this is so demoralizing. This is why front-end development is way harder than back-end. It's like managing client-side state is not easy. Why is this throwing an error when I'm not rendering it. Hey. I got probably 30 more minutes in me before my brain just gives up. Go. Okay. Test. What did I call it? Render test? Render test. Okay, that's good. It's not rendering my code. I guess it just wasn't hot. It wasn't hot reloading. So I was saving my files and then I was just... Yikes. That's such a loss of productivity. Okay, wow. Jesus. So... Oh, that's so demoralizing. It just wasn't reloading this freaking file. That's what you get for, I don't know. I didn't deserve that. No one does. Oh, wait, yeah, I still wanted to debug this, though. That's what I was trying to do the whole time. I want to understand this invariant violation. Okay. So this is the first time. Should be fine. Boom. Renders. And the current is empty filter, empty pagination, which is what I expect, actually. Oh, yeah, what's input though? Input current. Yeah, so that's correct. Next time. Renders again. Current, and here's the pagination. So input.id. Input.id. Search users. This is not correct. Input should be... This doesn't look correct. Why? Yeah, I got invalid value. Yeah, but hold on. Why was this changing? Render. Oh, that's the time. Okay, now that's expected. Yeah, so... ID is not correct. Input.current.id. Oh, it has to be input. Input.current.input. Oh, yeah. Like this. I think it's like that. So the reason I'm using a use ref here is to work around this Apollo bug where it's doing a comparison of the actual object references. Can't be properly filtered when defined. Oh, that's right, because I have to do this. I have to do like that. That's really what I want. Well, that's redundant, isn't it? Let me think. Input variable. Yeah, it's redundant. I can do it a different way. I can do it the way I was doing it before. So current. Input current. I think it's like this. Where is it? Here. Filter and pagination. So User search input. User search input. Filter by ID. Keywords location. Get pod by ID input. Yeah, okay. So get pod by ID input is still like this. And filter. Oh, I see why I was doing this. Let's do it like this. Get rid of this. Same with this. Let's do it like this. I should just refactor this whole component. It's being way too clever, trying to do 3 use cases in one component. Because it was like just similar enough. Okay, and then this is like that, and then it's filters and then pagination, order by, and sort type. Yeah. And then I can do input.current. Yeah, that should work. Bam. What? Oh my gosh. Let's put the debugger back in. I don't know why it keeps calling it. Let's go right here. Input.current is an object with property ID. That should be right. Oh, I didn't do it anywhere else. Alright, let's try that again. I don't know if I need the debugger now. Bam. And then bam. Bam. Alright, hold on. Field ID is not defined by search users input. Search users input. Yeah, see, this is the problem. Why is search users input being called? It should never have been called. Just skip. Oh, shit. Skip should be different. So skip should be group ID or pod ID. This is skip if not pod ID. And this is skip. I forgot to make this different. Skip if not group ID. Okay, that's better. Oh man, this is why I shouldn't be coding at 10 at night. I'm actually a morning person, believe it or not. Alright, come on. Now what? Yeah. How did I spell it? See, this is actually like a tip. When you see yourself like doing a lot of typos, that's when you know it's time to go to bed. Pagination. That's like your brain signaling to you like, hey, we're getting tired. Now what? Input filter is required. I still don't understand why it's not skipping here. Skip if group ID or pod ID. Oh, and filter. So this is the original skip. Now see, now my brain is really getting tired. Oh, such slow progress. It's demoralizing. Oh, no, don't leave pod. Cancel. No. UPs. Oh my god, does it freaking work now? It's just me in here, right? So let's go back. Okay. That took way longer than it should have. Can we see if it works with Firefox if I join Firefox? So if Firefox joins, join pod. Did it join? I thought I tested all this shit. It joined. Okay, so now if we go to view Ps, let's turn this off. Oh, stop. Oh, I have a debugger still in here. Go ahead. Why is there only one still? Oh, did I actually join the pod? Let's refresh here. Because this has a time range option. Like this, I'm not actually sure if that makes sense. I just did. Yeah, there's 2 members. Pod by ID response preview data pod members. Yeah, see, there's only 1 member. It's because when you join the pod, it sends a pod join request, right? Like Firefox. Although, actually, no, this is a bug because when I joined it, it says success, didn't it? Where is it? Yeah, success. So it says I joined it, but I actually did not. You see? If I take this pod ID, where is the pod ID? It's probably here. Get pod by event ID. So if I take this pod ID and I check to see the members edges in the database. So let's go to, where's pods? Here. It's 1B, right? 1BF. So this one, this pod, 313, let me copy this. Let's actually check to see in the graph the edges. Oh, that's pretty. So here it is. Look at all these tests that failed. This is the user. Wait, 313. This one is the pod. Okay, and so this must be a member's edge. Can I click on this? Yeah. So, how can I see the edge attributes? Can I click on it? How do I view the attributes? Like, I think this doesn't have a member state of join of member. See, the state should be member. Why the hell can I right click on it? Oh, here we go. Color attribute state. Here. Oh, I see. So it changes the color if it has that attribute. That's pretty cool. That's not what I want to do though. I want to actually see. Oh, you can label it by the attribute. So I can label it by state. So this should show member. Yeah, boom. That's what I want. Pending approval. So this is the pod 313, and this is. But why didn't I get a pod request here? That's a bug. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, there's a bug in the back end where it's not giving me pod join requests. I'll have to fix that. Anyways, so wow, that took a long time, but that freaking works now. We have to refactor this whole thing. I don't like it. Let me put, this is some tech debt we gotta pay. Let's go here. So let's do it like this. See, we're using this one user list component for like 3 different use cases, 3 different edges, like users that are members of the pod, members of the group, or that we're searching for based on a search filter. So let me see. To do, well, actually, I don't know, man. Is this good code? Like, does this make sense to have all 3 of these queries? Search users list. Like, no, this is not easy to read. To do refactor this into 3 separate smart components. And then they can use a common pure component to do this kind of rendering. Well, I mean, the only reason I did this is because, like, look at all this shared logic. So all I have to do is add these lines. Yeah, so I could refactor this. All the common stuff I could pull out into like a user list, smart user list. And then I could just inject the... Oh man, like, I don't know. It's 170 lines. Does it make sense to split this up into 3 components that are very, very similar? Shoot. Yes, this is too complicated. I'll leave that to do in there. Persistent query not found. What query is it not finding? Oh, it doesn't really matter. I can just do a build. All right, let me commit this because that was annoying. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to think about before I commit this. Like if we do the event in like /pod/id, do we want to like render this? Do we want to render this with that pod selected in the list? Or maybe we want to render the pod card that we see on the user's profile, right? Because when we're on the user profile, this is a UX question. When we're on the user profile, we don't just render the pod cards. Well, we do, but we render them with the event for context, right? So this is the pod. Oh no, this is an event. Yeah, so this is the pod I joined for this event, right? So maybe we should, if we just do like /pod/id, we render this. That's confusing as hell. This is a nested type. This isn't a top level type. So we shouldn't be able to do /pod. We should have to do like /event. Pod card. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this for now in the UX, if this makes sense. I want to get rid of this. On pod selected. This is not, oh my gosh, this should be like on UPs. This does not need pod. This is just toggling. And we can do this. toggle. So we can get rid of this. I didn't want to conflate those two things. So this is the pod card. Make sure that still works. Yeah, I think my answer is yes. I think we should have a slash, like slash about. Which will like bring you to the middle tab, right? Like by default, and we should be able to do slash connections. Like these should be routes. This component should know. Well, see, now it gets tricky. With about and connections, it's easy, but with pods, it's not, because what if the pod ID in the route is not in the first 20 pods of the paginated list? Oh, actually, that's okay, because in the pagination, in the get pods by event ID pagination, get pods by event ID, here, we give it the page info, right? Get pods by event ID. Get pods by event ID backend. What am I looking for? I'm trying to see something. Yeah, this. Get pods by event ID input. What the hell? Where is it? Here. So we just give it an ID in pagination. Okay, so what we could do is we could put a filter in here as well. You see? And then when we just do a event slash pod with the ID, we put the filter in the pagination logic. Pagination input. Where is this defined? Before, after, first, last, order by, sort, type. Yeah. That's a different PR. That's a UX thing. But yeah, we should be able to select these sub views by route. Let me put that. This is actually a good point. Let me put that here. Maybe we'll do that. Tech debt. Front end bug fixes. See, there's a lot of stuff still we have to do. Improve UX. Here we go. So add second level routing. Add second level routes. All right. Let's commit this toggle. Yeah, so we actually do want to do this. Let's uncomment that. It'll just set us up for success in the future. I don't know what I did to this file. Close this. Close this. It's refactored. Where was it? It was in not pod card. It was in GraphQL. GraphQL resolvers. Yeah, so we do want to do this. I answered my own question. So selected pods. Oh, I deleted it, didn't I? Let's just steal it from here. Probably faster than typing it out. And then do this. Oh, it's faster to do this. I love this pedal. Highly recommend you guys get a pedal. Okay, so I don't think it's gonna do anything right now. Get pod by ID. Why am I querying this? This should not be here. This should be in the smart component. That was a mistake. So now watch what happens when I select the pod. Select it. Ah, shit, no, I wanna do this. So we're back. Again, it shouldn't be a top level route because it's always in relation to the event. You never want to view what the heck? Why did that not work? Why didn't that work? It replaced it. I wanted to push it. Window. Window.location. Let me just see with that. I think this, I can use this value. Let's see. Oh, 10 o'clock. Window.location. Yeah, I can just use the window.location.path name. I don't want to do that. History.location.path name. When do I do this though? Path name doesn't have the query, right? Just want to make sure. Oh, the hell. All right, so history.location. Doesn't do anything right now, but we'll handle that in the future PR. Event/pod. Very good. Although now I guess it's giving me a 404 because we didn't implement that route yet. To do add pod subroute. Okay, let's commit that. Oh, actually, let's commit the search users list refactor first, because it's a dependent commit. Makes sense to go in that order. Where'd my music go? So let's uncommit this. I'm getting kind of sleepy. All right, before I commit this, actually, you know what I should do? I should test it in the other view. Dismiss this. Discover. Okay, so it looks like I think it should still work. Keys. So it's just two of us, Mike and Firefox. All right. Skip. I think I commit all of it but this. It's insane that that commit took so long. It was supposed to be like 20 minutes, not 2 hours. That's the problem with software. Is like you can't really estimate how long something's going to take, because unless you're writing your own library or your own stuff, we all depend on each other. You know, like I've spent sometimes like a day on like some Windows bug, you know, because I didn't realize it was like a low-level OS bug. So, you know, something that should have taken 20 minutes took 2 days because of a problem in a library I was using. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants, you know. I didn't write the microcode for this CPU. I should definitely take a break now. I don't know if I want to keep going though and do this start and end time. So let's start this in the spirit of not like ending on a. You always want to end your session like right where you can pick it off, pick it back up. So let's render the time option. So start time and end time. Actually, we can just take this from the event form, I think. We can just lift it. Because that has, like when you create an event, let's see. I think we have a start and an end time. Yeah, boom, boom. That's exactly what we want. Let's just take it. Well, wait, do we want to... It's an option, right? It's either it has a start and end time or it has time ranges. You can't have both. So it's actually a radio. So it's like this, right? So you come here, you go to custom, and then boom, you start and end time. So you can either do okay, so all right, so the time of the pod is either the full time, right? So it's either the full time of the event where it inherits the start and end time, or it's a subset of that time, or it's a time range option. Hold on, let me think for a second. So what should it say? It should say use event time choose custom start time end time, or allow members to plan. No. Custom. So basically start time, end time. Start and end time. Use event. Custom. And allow planning. Or enable planning. Okay, that makes sense. We'll change it later, but that makes sense for now. So we want to basically just take the same thing as... Actually, we even want to use the tags from filters. Yeah, cancel this. So if we do change, if we filter, right, where is it? Not keywords, filter by time on the events. So come in here. So see how we can do time ranges? So this can be the what do you call it? The time selector component that we wrote. So you choose your time range and you select start and end time, and then boom, it shows up here. No. We should render it like this. Time ranges. Okay, but we still want to use the start and end time from this. Use inherit event. Custom. All right, whatever. I can't think of the right copy for this feature. We'll think about it like that. We'll sleep on it. But we need a oh my gosh, yes. We need another triple after privacy. Status, privacy, dating option. Yeah, so it should be after privacy. So right here. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Also, maybe this should not be a radio grid because that's too simple. It should be the grid item. It should be a to-do. What are we gonna call it? We're gonna call it the pod time selector. What is audience selector? No, this one. It's a radio grid, right? Yeah, so it's a form control with a radio grid, and that radio grid enables either a form. It's going to be very similar to this, actually. Yeah, very similar. Okay, so that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do tomorrow. The pod time selector. We make a note. Pod time selector. So it's either going to be use event time, allow members, enable planning, or it's going to be custom. It's not custom, actually. It's a subset of the event time. But whatever. So it's going to go here. Create pod. Pod time selector. Right, okay. That makes sense. And then when you click on custom, it's going to render the it's going to render this thing. This oh, why is it not scrolling? Oh yeah, it's going to render this. And you're going to be able to add time ranges to the custom. Yeah, okay. I understand it now. I have a good idea. We can start this up tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys for bearing with me on that painful debugging session, but that's, I mean, now you know that's how it actually is to write code. Luckily though, tomorrow we have no dependencies, so we can just actually implement this pure component pretty quickly. This, the time selector for the form. And then we can move on to, let's just call it this. Implement time range, no. Time selector here component. And then add time selector component to pod form. So we'll do this, then that, and then we refactor the time range out of the card, and we show it in a modal. This stuff is minor. Verifying the event time ranges, we're just not doing that. Refactor the event filters to include a virtual option. Refactor the pod form to read-write the time range options. Oh, that's this. That's this. Fix invalid date and event card. Okay. So this should be good. We'll start here tomorrow. And with that, you all have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.